Hello everyone. Hello, welcome to Beast World tonight. So I'm Lexus Chen. It's my honor to be the host for today's sharing. So today's sharing in the Zoom in the main channel is in English. And if you want to listen to interpretation, please find the button at the right corner. Then you can select the interpretation, for example, Bahasa Indonesia and Khmer. Okay, thank you. And also, it's very, very important today. Where are you from? I want to know. Are you from Indonesia? Are you from Cambodia? And from Africa, Oceania, and the cities around the world? Please also share me where are you now, and also say hello to everyone. You can leave message on the live chat function. Okay, thank you so much. I see a lot of our audience from different place, and also you are very no matter you are busy, you are sitting in the home with your family, just enjoy tonight. Okay, and today's topic is very important for you to know. It's about your body health. And as I always have some discussion and gathering with my friends, when I mention one word, maybe some of my friends will have negative feeling. It's fat. Yeah, when I mention fat, then some of my friends will say, oh, I don't want fat. I don't want fat. But do you really know what is fat? And also, what is the relation between fat and your body health? Do you really know it? So today, it's our great honor to invite a gentleman who have more than 30 years experience on anti-aging researching. And he's also one of our Smart Lab panel member. Let's welcome Dr. Fernando Cortizo. Welcome, Dr. Fernando.
Hi. Can you see me? Yes.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Everybody, you can see. Yeah, this is Dr. Fernando.
Nice
who
to meet
will
you.
share you many information, because Dr. Fernando have a lot of background and also doing a lot of research about your body health. So he will share you more information today. And if you have any question during his sharing, please also leave the question in the live chat. Then after Dr. Fernando's sharing, we will pick some of the question and also share to Dr. Fernando. Dr. Fernando will share you more information and more tips about your health to help you to solve your problem. Okay, so now let's pass the mic to Dr. Fernando. Dr. Fernando, please.
Hi, welcome everyone. We are very happy that you decided to join us tonight. I'm very happy to see so many of our friends from different countries, Papua, from Magellan, Indonesia, from Makassar, Philippines, Cambodia, from Bekasi as well, near where I am, other countries as well, Malaysia. Very good. So welcome everyone. It's really nice to see you, and thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. Thank you for showing your interest. I hope the information that we have for you tonight is going to be successful in providing you with the knowledge that you need. And I think this is a very important topic. It's a topic about fats. I'm going to share that screen for you to discuss this topic in a much more detailed manner. Okay. This is a very interesting topic. You know, it's actually one of the topics that is the most controversial, right, is about fats. It's a topic that is very close to our hearts because all of us have to face this question sooner or later. I have to tell you that there is a very, very, very strong argument about this, the question of fats, right? In the scientific community and also in the medical community and at government levels and also in industry, okay? Because unfortunately, industry has become involved over the last 50 years in the question of fats. So a lot of industries, manufacturers have been pushing fat-free products and saying to everyone with massive advertising that in fact, low fat is good for you. It is better for you, right? So this is a very, very, very controversial issue because now we know that many of the things we have heard as the truth over the years have now, we find out they are not true. They are not correct. And science apparently have to correct itself many times. For example, question of eggs is a very, very critical question, right? Should we eat eggs, yes or no, right? It's a very important. And so the advice from governments, the advice from researchers, which are in fact associated with certain industries, some scientists and doctors which are part of industry, in other words, they have a connection with industry, they have been changing their mind for the last 30 years, many times over. In other words, they said, don't eat eggs. Oh yes, do eat eggs, it's good for you. No, don't eat eggs, it's bad for you. Every year we get a different opinion. But we need to get to the truth. We need to find out the truth. Are fats important and do we need them? Okay. Now remember, we are not going to make any medical claims. If you need medical advice, refer to your family doctors or your medical practitioner, right? This information we provide you is simply for educational purposes and for you to have information and details to change and modify your lifestyle. So we proceed. So what do we know about the question of fat? And this is, don't worry, because this is not very complicated, but it's very important. So what we've heard so far, the medical and scientific opinion about fats, also the opinion of many manufacturers in industry, people who actually sell you products, supermarkets, right? They say the following: in your diet, so there are two types of fat, remember this. One type of fat is the ones that you eat, you consume in your diet. So that's one type. And the other type is, in fact, the one that is present inside your body. So there are two types of fat, okay? They're not the same. Now, in your diet, we know, and it has been said by medical and scientific establishment and the opinion of scientists and medicals and doctors, fats in your diet increase your blood cholesterol. We heard this many times, correct? Many, many, many times. But we know it's not true. It is not true. Fat in your diet does not necessarily increase your blood cholesterol. They also say you must eat low-fat food, low-fat milk, low-fat ice cream, okay? Low-fat many things, low-protein products, okay? And so on and so on. They say don't eat eggs. Wait, hang on, eat eggs. Yes, it's okay, it's okay. And next year it's not okay. And then the following year is yes, it's okay. And so on and so on. And every year there is a different opinion, okay, about eggs. But I'm going to talk to you about eggs so that you have a clear picture. Now, they also say blood cholesterol is a major cause, the major causative agent. In other words, the major cause of plugs and blocks in your arteries, right? That's what you know. That's what you've heard so far, okay? They say that blood cholesterol is a major cause of cardiovascular disease, right? So that's what they say to you. That's what you've been told, that blood cholesterol is a major cause of cardiovascular disease. This is in your mind, it's in your brain. You have been programmed to believe this is true, right? Now, they also say low blood cholesterol is good for you. They say saturated fats are bad for you. For example, saturated fats like lard and butter and your animal fat, they're all bad for you, okay? And they've been pushing for 40 years or 50 years vegetable oils, and they say that they're very good for you, okay? So they say vegetable oils, in fact, are very good for your health and for your family, for you to cook with, right? Now, in my opinion, this is my opinion, and I tell you, we're going to argue about this for the next 10, 15, 20 years. We're going to have different opinions, but I'm going to show you the science so that you have no confusion. In my opinion, all of these things that you heard just now are not true, okay? That fats in your diet do not increase your blood cholesterol, right? That you don't have to eat low-fat food and low-fat milk. That eggs are very good for you, in fact. We know that. Blood cholesterol is not the major cause of arterial plaques and blocks in your artery. It's not. It's one of the components involved in that block, but it's not the major cause. Blood cholesterol is not necessarily the major cause of cardiovascular disease. And I'll tell you this, very important. If you have low blood cholesterol, you live shorter, your longevity is gone. And low blood cholesterol is not necessarily good for you, okay? Low blood cholesterol, in fact, it is not good for your longevity and your anti-aging, right? In fact, we know now, through research, that the people who have high blood cholesterol, they live the longest time. In other words, people that normally have high blood cholesterol, as a rule, they tend to live longer, okay? They will live longer. And that is a scientifically demonstrated fact. No one can deny this. Now, we know saturated fats are not bad for you, that they can be good for you if they're used properly. And we know now that vegetable oils are 100% not good for you, okay? Now, what about, sorry about that, what about in your body? What happens with the fat that is present in your body? In that area, in this area, we tend to agree. We can agree that too much fat in your body, it is not good for your health. We agree with that. That is true. That being overweight is not necessarily good for your health. We agree with that, okay? Losing weight is good for you. We agree with that. Losing weight is good for you in most of the cases, okay? As long as losing weight is part of a plan, is part of a program to help your health. More muscle mass is good for you. Absolutely true. It's all true. So those scientific comments that are made, a medical opinion about fat in your body, inside your body, the one that you carry with you, these things are true, okay? Fat is not always good for you. However, we know that fats do very important things. Now, what do we call fats? Now, remember that this is a very important terms that you have to learn. What do we call fats? And what do they do? Now, the fats are triglycerides. We call them triglycerides, medium chain triglycerides, short chain triglycerides. We call them long chain triglycerides. There's cholesterol, it's a very important one, right? Cholesterol, and other essential fatty acids. So these are the terms, the names that we use to talk about different fats: triglycerides, cholesterol, fatty acids, etc., right? Now, we call them essential fatty acids because the body cannot make them. And so you have to supply the body with essential fatty acids because your body cannot make them. Okay, now they tend to store energy. They are a very good insulator and protect you from changes in temperature. They also protect our organs. They work as messengers. They help proteins and communication in the body, and they allow the body and the proteins in your body to do their job. Okay, so fats are very, very important, and they do many different things, and we're going to discuss that in more detail so that you'll understand that in more detail. So, does my body need fat? Let's talk cholesterol. Okay, now I have to tell you about cholesterol, that cholesterol fat, it is a major component of the human cell. In other words, when you look at the human cell, almost 50% of the cell membranes of the cell, or the membrane that is outside the cell, is made of cholesterol. So cholesterol is very critical, and it's very important, it's very common, and we need it, okay? Now, we make around, normally about 1 gram of cholesterol per day, okay? We make, okay? Our liver makes the cholesterol that we need, okay? So that's very important to know. It's not the cholesterol that comes from your diet, but it is the one that we make. So altogether, we have around 35 to 50 grams of total cholesterol in the body. It's quite a significant, quite a large amount, okay? Now, this cholesterol allows the membranes of your cells to be permeable. In other words, to allow transfer of different proteins coming in and out of the cells, right? Cholesterol is the major component of the cell membranes. So we think that around 30 to 50% of all the fats in the cell membrane is in fact cholesterol, okay? So there's a lot more other fats that are part of the cell membrane, you know, the envelope of cell that envelopes every cell called the cell membrane, but at least 50% of the fats and up to 60% of the components of these cells, in fact, are cholesterol. Now, your liver makes all the cholesterol that your body needs, okay? So the cholesterol and other fats then are carried as particles. We call them lipoprotein. So this is the term that you see here, lipoprotein. And they're, you know, the cholesterol comes, and we know in many different forms, but we talk about 2 different types. We talk about good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, right? HDL and LDL, right? There are other forms of cholesterol which we will not discuss here because we don't have the time. But let me just say that these 2 forms of cholesterol, HDL and LDL, are important markers. This shows essentially the balance of fats in your body, right? It also tells you whether your cholesterol production is being controlled, how much good cholesterol you have. And it's always a good idea to have higher good cholesterol and to have lower LDL. But it is not a good idea to lower your cholesterol to very low levels like is normally done, okay? Because we need the cholesterol. As we see here, we need the cholesterol. We need it every day for every cell in our body. And it's essential for our brain because our brain is made up of a very large amount of cholesterol, okay? Now, one important question, maybe we can talk about this in more detail later on during our discussion, but does food fat? In other words, if you eat food that has fat and cholesterol in it, does it make your blood cholesterol higher? What do you think? What is your opinion on this? I'll tell you what my opinion and what I know is a fact. 90% of the cholesterol in your blood is made by your liver, okay? Understand? So 90% of your cholesterol in your blood and in the rest of the body too is made by your liver. So the fat and cholesterol in your diet, in the food that you eat, can only increase blood cholesterol by around 10%. You follow that? The fat in your diet can only increase blood cholesterol by 10%. It's amazing, right? Because we've been taught for a long time now that we have to eat low-fat food. Because why? Because of cholesterol. They say you have to eat low-fat food, low fat in your diet, because that will reduce your cholesterol. Correct or not? I think you probably say yes in the comments, but this is what we hear constantly, right? And that is not true. So my question to you is, do you still believe a low-fat and cholesterol diet is necessary to control your cholesterol, right? Do you still believe that? Think about what I'm suggesting for you, okay? That if we know that most of the cholesterol we make, our liver makes, and that only the cholesterol in the diet can only change our blood cholesterol a little bit by less than 10%. Do you still believe that you need a low-fat diet? Okay? So let's continue with that. So why is fat very important? Now let's talk about what fat does. And then there are many vitamins, as you know, and many of you have already discussed with me before, that some vitamins are in fact fat soluble. Okay, some vitamins, they need fat to solubilize and to be absorbed and taken around in the body. Like vitamin A, very important. Vitamin D, very important vitamin. Vitamin E, and there are other vitamins as well, which are in fact fat soluble. Okay, so the fat allows the vitamins to be absorbed better, to be stored as a storage, right? So the fat allows you to keep higher levels of vitamin inside your body as a storage. Okay, we make hormones in our body, and most of the hormones need cholesterol and fat. That is something you cannot get away from. Okay, we cannot change that. If you don't have fat, you won't make hormones. Okay, so what happens often, very often, when you're given a statin or a medication to lower cholesterol, you lower the cholesterol so much that you stop making the hormones that your body needs. And for women particularly, that means that women become menopause early before their time, okay? So statins can have a very negative effect to your hormone production. Now, we need fat to control our body weight. So if we can control the fat, we can control our body weight effectively. So weight control is about fat control, okay? So if we reduce the fat, we reduce our weight. We never want to reduce our weight by losing muscle, okay? By losing bone, by losing other tissues. Weight loss and weight management is always about fat control, okay? Now, it also insulates us from temperature changes. So the fat acts as an insulator, working together with thyroid hormones. You know, your thyroid gland is right here. If you look at it, it's around your neck. That these hormones together with fat control body temperature. So they're very important. There you go. Fat is very, very important, and it plays a very important role in your body function and in your health. Okay, let's move forward. So there are 4 different types of fats that we talked about. In fact, there are more, but let's talk about the major 4 different types. We talk about saturated fat. Now, you have heard about this many times for 20, 30, 40 years, okay? Don't eat saturated fat. Saturated fats are bad for your health. Saturated fats are bad for you. Don't eat saturated fat. They give you heart disease, okay? Now, let me just tell you this, okay? Many people say that it's bad, but keep your mind open, because they were used for centuries, for hundreds of years by our ancestors, by our people, by our civilization. Fats were used regularly in diet, and very few people die of heart disease. I cannot remember anyone when I was young, anyone associated with my grandparents, any of the older generation, okay, to have a heart disease like we see today. And those people use saturated fat for everything, okay? Now, there's another type, is monounsaturated fat, which could be better for us. And we'll talk about this later on. Polyunsaturated fat, possibly better for us than saturated fat. And we have the really bad news fat, which we call the trans fatty acids or trans fats, which are exceptionally bad for your health. They are the major causes of the current problems that we experience. They are the major causes, one of the most significant causes of diabetes, cancers, heart disease, blindness. In other words, when we lose our sight, okay? These are your trans fats, okay? So let's proceed. So what about the saturated fat? Now remember, the saturated fat, mostly they come from animal sources, okay? They come from, cows and pigs and chickens and so on, even fish. Now this is meat and dairy products, and as well as some plant foods will have saturated fats, okay? Things like palm oil, which is extensively used in Malaysia and Indonesia and in Asia. Coconut oil, which I think, in my opinion, is one of the best oils that you can use for cooking, frying, and other things, right? Coconut oil has possibly one of the best potentials of them all. Now, the foods that have high saturated fats, and if you're not interested in the chemistry, don't look at this at this diagram. It's just part of the chemistry. If you're interested, you can follow it. Now, meat has saturated fat. Meat products, the fatty cuts, butter. I don't know if you heard ghee. Ghee used to be a very heavy butter that was used for generations successfully, right? For cooking and for frying. Lard, also very hard, very saturated fat. Cheese, especially hard cheese like cheddar cheese, cream, sour cream, ice cream, chocolate, palm oil, coconut oil, and coconut cream. So saturated fats come in many different forms, but mostly come from animals and were used for generations when there was essentially no heart disease, right? Truly, some cultures, some countries use saturated fats as the only main source of fats, right? And they experience very little heart disease, okay? So saturated fat, you need to keep your mind open. We might come around in a few years to understand that saturated fat are more friendly than what we think, okay? Now, what about monounsaturated fats? And monounsaturated fats, they help you to protect your heart. They actually elevate the good cholesterol, right? While they reduce the bad cholesterol. Okay, so this is one of the things we see. We see a higher level of good cholesterol and a lower level of bad cholesterol. Okay, so where do we find monounsaturated fats or monounsaturated oils, as we call them? In olive oil, which is used widely, rapeseed oil, okay, and spreads made from these oils, okay. But the most important one is olive oil. Rapeseed oil, I have a few questions about this oil that we can discuss another time. Avocados are a fantastic source of monounsaturated fat, nuts, almonds, Brazilian nuts, and peanuts as well. So they all provide good quality monounsaturated fat. Okay, let's talk about polyunsaturated fat, okay? Now, the polyunsaturated fat can help you to lower bad cholesterol, what we call the LDA, right? And these are the ones, this group, this category belongs, in this category belong the omega-3s and omega-6, as we call them, right? You heard a lot about omega-3 and omega-6. Now, some types of omega-3 and omega-6 cannot be made by us, so we have to obtain them from our diet, okay? Unfortunately for vegetarians, omega-3 can be found in some vegetables, but not very common. Mostly they're found in oily fish, okay? In, herring, trout, sardines, salmon, mackerel. So often omega-3 comes from an animal source, animal meat, things like fish. It is also present in beef, it's also present in pork, in chicken, okay, in lower amounts, but it's present. Now, omega-6 also is found in vegetable oils, and we find it in sunflower oil, in the commercial vegetable oils, rapeseed and corn, right? So polyunsaturated fats are very important because they can help you to lower the bad cholesterol. But the more significant polyunsaturated fat that we like to use is omega-3, not so much omega-6, okay? But we're gonna talk about that a little bit. What about the trans fats? Well, the trans fats are in fact another form of unsaturated fat. Now, they come in natural and artificial form. Now, 99% of all the trans fats are artificially made by people, okay? They are produced by industry. So the majority of the trans fat is made artificially, okay? Now, there are some natural trans fats, but they are very small percentage in our diet, 2 to 6% of fat in dairy products and a little bit in beef and lamb. So we know that people who take dairy products and meat eaters don't have to be worried about trans fats from meat and from milk, okay? And then there have been many studies that show that when you drink milk and you eat meat, whatever type of meat you eat, you don't have to worry about trans fats because there's very little amount in there. However, the trans fats, which are industrial trans fats, they are hydrogenated fats. I don't know if you understand that term, partially hydrogenated fats. So what factories do, and food industry does, is they hydrogenate and they process the natural fat and they turn it into a trans fat, okay? And the trans fat are then prepared in a way that can be used in supermarkets, in stores, in industry, in food industry, right? Where do you find the artificial trans fat? In vegetable oils. I'm telling you this as a friend, as a scientist, as a doctor, and in every way, stay away from vegetable oils, okay? Because they are full of trans fats. I'm talking about full, okay? Stay away from margarine. Margarine is one of the most unhealthy, fatty type of foods that I know. Don't use margarine. You better use butter because butter is a natural fat, and butter is shown to have better properties than margarine. Okay, margarine is an entirely artificial fat which has been produced to look like fat, to look like butter, but it's not butter. Okay. I need to tell you that many years ago we discovered that margarine was associated with a lot of issues regarding an increase in loss of vision. In other words, the trans fats in margarine could affect the vision of many people, the eyes, right? Leading to some form of vision loss over the years. As people consume trans fat for many years, they accumulate harmful fats in their eyes and actually causes loss of vision, okay? Blindness, yeah? However, unfortunately, these artificial trans fats, okay, are very, very dangerous to your health, okay? We know now that there is a connection between trans fat an increase of heart disease. Okay, in many different studies like this, the clinical studies, it was found that people that consume trans fat instead of other fats or carbohydrates, they have a much higher bad cholesterol level or LDL level, right? However, we don't see an increase in good cholesterol. We see an increase only in bad cholesterol. So, but what we do see, and there are several studies, and you will see the studies here, you can actually look at that link and research that by yourself, that other fats, apart from trans fats, tend to increase both good and bad cholesterol, okay? So which means the other fats might increase, it could increase good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. However, because the ratio is maintained between good and bad cholesterol, the change is not harmful to you because you're also increasing the good cholesterol, okay? And we know that many studies show clearly that trans fats are linked to heart disease. There is a very strong link. So anything that you hear outside about artificial vegetable oils, you need to discard, you need to ignore, and you need to forget, and help your friends, especially in Indonesia. It's extremely important, as it is in Malaysia, because the population uses a lot of frying, deep frying, and use a lot of vegetable oils, okay? Okay, so what about, what is good fat and what is bad fat for your diet, okay? We're talking about your diet. Now, my advice for you is that you research these for yourself and you can make up your own mind. But to me, it's become very clear, okay? The traditional fats that we used before seem to offer more support, more health, okay? And for frying, don't use anything else except, number one would be lard. Try to find out what lard is. Lard is a very heavy fat. Butter, coconut oil, okay? Now I'll tell you how I decide that. How do I decide to use an oil or a fat for frying, okay? This is for deep frying. If the oil or the butter is actually solid in a cold room, okay? I'm talking about even the supermarket. You go to the supermarket shelves and you look at the oils. And if you see any oil that is hard, it's not liquid, it's hard in the supermarket store, under the air conditioning of the store, now that is a good oil to use, okay? We now know that it is safer and better to use oils that become harder as they become cold. In other words, you put them in the fridge, they become very hard very quickly, okay? But the oils that remain liquid, even in a cold temperature, even if you put them in the fridge, those ones do not use, okay? Because they obviously have high levels of trans fatty acids, right? Now, for salads, I will advise you, use virgin olive oil or other types of olive oils, okay? Do not use vegetable oils for salads. Do not use olive oil for frying. The oil has to be strong and has to be able to take on the temperature of frying without changing, okay? That is a main problem. So olive oil is excellent for your salad, but it is not a good oil for frying, right? A lot of people are gonna find this confusing, but olive oil is not good for everything. So olive oil is only good for salads, yeah? For salads or low temperature frying, okay? Not for deep frying, right? Do not use olive oil. Now, do not use vegetable oils for frying or salads, okay? Do not use them. You're better off to use saturated fats for frying, virgin olive oil for salads. Okay. Now, let me give you some examples of some of these unhealthy foods that we talked about. Okay. Vegetable oils are extremely unhealthy. We find them in the supermarkets in big bags, especially in plastic bags. And I say to people all the time, I know this is difficult, right? Do not use any oil that comes in a plastic bag. Okay. You understand that point? Do not use any oil that comes in a plastic bag. Why? Because the oil will dissolve the plastic bag, and the chemicals of the plastic bag will remain in the oil. Okay? It's better to use glass. Always, if you can, use glass. Okay? As much as possible. Now, you'll find unhealthy fats in snacks, processed foods, anything that comes in a sealed bag, anything that is processed food in a sealed bag, don't touch it. Chips, right? Snacks, anything that you can think of that is artificially prepared in a box or in a bag, don't touch it. Okay? So what happens when you have a lot of fat in your body? Okay, and remember, we talked about before, the fat in your diet is different. Okay, what type of fat should we use for your diet, in your daily eating, in your daily food? And now we move to the other question. What about fats already in your body? The fats that you're already storing in your body, which is a different type of fat. How does that affect your health? Now we now know, and let me show you, I have no problems with being overweight, having big body frame or small body frame. I have no problem. I don't care. I don't judge people for what they look like. But I know one thing, that if you're overweight, being overweight is not necessarily beautiful for your health, right? It might be beautiful for your eyes. Yeah. A lot of people like that look. They like people, boys and girls that are overweight. They find that more interesting, more attractive. Yeah. It is beautiful for your eyes, but it's not beautiful for your health. Okay, because now we know that excess fat in your body are a major cause of chronic diseases. As you become bigger and overweight, you develop chronic diseases. Okay, you develop inflammation, which is the major cause of many diseases. We produce obesity, and one important side effect of fat in your body is premature aging. And the more fat you accumulate in your body, the faster you become older. Okay, the faster you age. And it all relates to a particular ratio. I'm going to talk to you about this ratio. It's actually omega-3, omega-6 ratio. It is very, very important. And it means that this ratio has to be controlled. It should be from 1 to 3. In other words, almost the same amount of omega-3 to omega-6 in your diet. Okay? Omega-3 comes from, as we said before, from fish, some vegetables, good food. Okay? Omega-6 is present in certain products, especially in artificial products, in snacks. If you have too much omega-6, then you have inflammation, you have obesity, you have health issues. Okay? This is a very important ratio. We call it AA-EPA ratio. Okay? This is a ratio, you know, a ratio, you know, a ratio is in fact shows you how much AA or arachidonic acid you have, okay, versus in comparison to omega-3 fatty acid, okay? Now, the best AA-EPA ratio, this is omega-3, omega-6 ratio, okay, is 1.5. It's considered to be the ideal, okay? Because this is a ratio that we find in Japan, where the population lives the longest life, and there is almost no cardiovascular disease. Okay, you understand that point? It's a very important ratio. It's considered to be ideal, 1.5. We find it in places like Japan, and where there's a lot of people who live past 100 years, and they have very little cardiovascular disease. Like the French people, they have more longevity, the French, but they drink, they smoke, right? Heavily, and yet they have no cardiovascular disease. Very little. And there is a problem with that, because obviously, if you drink and smoke, but you have the right ratio of omega-3 to omega-6, 1.5, you develop no cardiovascular disease. Okay? So this ratio gives you an indication of the inflammation in your body, in your cells, okay? The control of that inflammation, all right? If the ratio is very big, very large, you have more inflammation. If the ratio is less than 3, you tend to have very good health. Now, we see this, that it is possible to change this ratio. And I'm going to tell you how to change the ratio. Then in 28 days, for example, your omega-3 or the omega-6 ratio, if it's 8, that is very close to a disease ratio. In other words, this ratio of 8.4 is a ratio that will show chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, cancers, etc., etc. And then the triglycerides ratio against good cholesterol, HDL, okay, is 1.3. So in other words, okay, there is a lot of triglycerides and less good cholesterol. Now, if you do certain things in your lifestyle, if you change your lifestyle, in 28 days, you can lower your ratio from 8.4 to 1.3. So you go from a disease ratio of 8.4 to a normal protective ratio of 1.3. And then your triglycerides and good cholesterol ratio becomes better also. It improves, which means you have more good cholesterol. Now, you're going to ask me the question, how can we do this? Yeah, and I'm going to talk to you about this. How to improve your omega-3, omega-6 ratio very fast, okay? We go from disease state, disease condition, to normal protective condition, all right? And so I'm telling you about this in general terms, okay? This is the program that is used internationally by organizations, by hospitals, by doctors, scientists that know how to do this, okay? So there's 2 things you can do, okay? If you want to change your omega-3, omega-6 ratio, okay? For 4 to 6 hours, you want to improve this very fast. What you have to do is to reduce your carbohydrate and eat more protein, okay? So we call this the protein carbohydrate PC ratio. It should be 0.5 to 1. Okay, let's say if it's 1, this ratio is protein to carbohydrates, okay? It means that for every ratio of 1, it means that if I eat this much rice, my handful of rice, I have to eat also a handful of protein, okay? If my rice is like that, then my protein is like that. So this has to be a 1 to 1 ratio, okay? Same ratio. Now, normally we don't eat like that, okay? We eat a lot of rice and a little bit of protein, okay? Now, if you want to improve your omega-3 ratio, omega-6 ratio in short term, okay? It will take 4 to 6 hours. Then you change protein to carbohydrate ratio, okay? But I am more interested in how I can use long-term modification. How do I change things the long term that lasts for a long time, okay? The longer term, which is 7 to 14 days, to balance omega-3, omega-6 ratio, it involves, okay, it involves, in fact, a program where you lower calories and you increase exercise. So this is what is being used internationally as the standard. You want to improve your inflammation ratio, omega-3s to omega-6. What you do for 14 days, up to 14 days, is you lower your calories and you increase exercise. Okay? Remember that one. So if you want to concentrate on improving your inflammatory markers, the inflammation in your body, the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio is low calorie and exercise. Okay. So wellness plans, they need anti-inflammatory diet for life. Okay. So the question is, how long should I do this for? You have to do it for life. There's no two ways about this. We have no solution at the moment for this, except that we have to do it all the time. So what do we need to do? Okay, I will give you the recipe. They give you an idea. You eat small meals, okay? Small meals, don't eat big plates, smaller. Eat less calories, lower your calories, okay? Less sugar in your diet. You need to have some protein, including fish at every meal, okay? Have some protein, including fish at every meal. So protein has to become a more common part of your diet, okay? So eat primary fruits and vegetables. In other words, you have to eat the main fruits that we know and vegetables with low glycemic index, or you can use fruit extracts, okay, which have lower glycemic index. Low glycemic index food and supplements are very important for a lifetime plan. In other words, for the rest of your life, you have to lower glycemic index, okay? Fiber in your diet is very important. Vitamin, minerals, and antioxidants are also very important. Now, this plan that I'm talking to you about now is not my plan, it's not plans of our friends, it's the plan that I know. It is being used internationally as an anti-inflammatory plan that you need to use for life, for the rest of your life, okay? How long should you do it? For the rest of your life, okay? Now, what things can you do to control your body fat? One of the biggest problems that we find is that we eat out, okay? When we go out, we eat the wrong food, or we stay home and we order the wrong food at home, okay? So when eating out or eating at home, select low carbohydrate, low glycemic index food. You have to understand how to do that. You'll have to practice on how to do that, right? Now, in terms of lifestyle changes, it is very important that you have to be more active. So walking, do whatever you have to do to be more active. You go upstairs and downstairs. You drive the car less. Don't drive your car 100 meters to go and buy something. Walk everywhere you can, okay? Use the stairs more. Become active. Don't use remote control so much. Get up and turn the television on or off. Okay, so try to be more active. Now include supplements as well, like vitamins, antioxidants, medium chain triglycerides, very important, fibers and minerals. So with these three actions, you can control your body fat. Now, the other way to control the body fat and control body weight is to follow the Isholution program. And this is the one that we talked about. And I want to make it clear to you that this plan, in fact, will assist you to achieve that control of your body weight, to achieve the shaping up and the lowering of your fat tissue in your body. Now, the Isholution products that we normally use are dedicated to control fat and to control weight, okay? So this is a very powerful combination of products. They increase energy production, right? They increase detoxification, and they increase and help us to build more muscle mass. We call it 3 ups, okay? That we increase energy, increase detox, and increase protein buildup, right? And we have these two specific products, which I always refer to you because I think that they can help you in achieving the objective. And the objective today is, how do we control fat? How do we control our weight? Okay. Now, the dietary fruit juice is an energy production product. It promotes detoxification. It has fantastic, and I invite you to research this more closely. Really interesting tropical fruit concentrate. We want the fruits. We want the tropical fruits even more, but it's very difficult to find tropical fruit often. So the concentrates do a fantastic job in providing you the same benefits that the original fruits will provide. Antioxidant, vitamin, minerals, and good quality antioxidants as well, and fiber. Okay. Now, the dietary milkshake is dedicated, or its objective is to increase protein in your diet, to increase muscle production and improve nutrition with the medium chain triglycerides. Both dietary fruit juice and dietary milkshake support a healthy gastrointestinal tract. They support the function of the gastrointestinal system. They provide fibers, oligosaccharides, which we call prebiotics, right? They actually support the existence and maintenance of a good amount and good quality bacteria in your intestinal system. Okay. Now, the main ingredients, I always insist on people that they should memorize these, because this is in fact the proper combination of ingredients that I would use no matter what products I use. Okay. I will use this for myself together. Fibers, antioxidants like Pomanox, turmeric powder, which is a strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory product. Inulin is a very successful prebiotic to support gastrointestinal health. Good quality, good source of combination of proteins. Okay, tropical fruit powder, MTC, so medium chain triglycerides are part of that combination of ingredients. Now, so, if we use a proper combination of these products to support the loss of the famous belly and control of the belly, okay, which is certainly something difficult for us sometimes to achieve, right? There are certain things that we know we can do. And then if you try them, you will find that you will have a greater control on the fat around your belly. You will control it, and you will reduce it. Include the dietary fiber in your diet, more protein, promote healthy bacteria in your body, control your weight by exercise, okay? Improve detoxification and make your metabolism optimal or faster as always. Now, this Isholution program, which is actually a combination of good quality a program that has in mind, or has an objective to lower your calories and substitute some of the calories that you normally take for a period of 14 days. And you must include exercise as well. And you will find that a combination of the lower calories, the enhance or increase nutritional input together with the exercise, it will help you to control your weight. You will lose fat and you will shape up as you gain and you have more muscle, okay? And it will altogether, as a program, help you to deal with the true causes of aging, which are, aging is caused by bad detoxification, lower internal energy, and no muscle mass. And in fact, this program will actually help you to support and to deal with the true causes of aging by improving your detox, improving your internal energy, amount of energy that your body produces, and improving your muscle mass, mobility, and strength. So I highly recommend it. Until now, it has been really fantastic. We have had great success, and I think if you continue in the right direction, you will be able to reach our objectives in the future. Thank you, Mr. Cheng. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fernando, for all the information sharing. Because also it's first time also for me and also for our audience to listen so complicated about the information about the facts and our body health. So thank you so much for your sharing. And also, as Dr. Fernando mentioned, the Isholution product, which also benefits to your bodies, for example, anti-aging, detoxification, and also helps to boost up your immune system and also for your body weight control. So it's very important and key for you to know and try our Isholution program. Yeah, we have the 14 days program, maintenance program, and also detoxification program. So please contact our branches and to know more information about Isholution programs. It's really good for you and also for your family. Okay, so now we will start our question and answer session. So I will pick some of the questions from the live chat and to share to Dr. Fernando, and Dr. Fernando will use his own knowledge to share you more information. Okay, so let's pick the first question. Okay, first question, it's about, okay, do all fats have the same number of calories?
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Fernando.
Well,
yeah.
They actually have different types of calories, but roughly speaking, every gram of fat carries about 9 calories. Okay, so for every gram of fat, let's talk about this in 2 different ways. That every fat that you consume has 9 calories, right? Equivalent for every gram. And internally in your body, there are, every gram of fat in your body also has 9 calories that you have to control, right? So regardless of the type of fat, they all mostly are very much the same. They vary from 8.5 to 9.5, but around 9 is the average. Now we know that fats are more energy dense, okay? So in other words, they have more energy per gram, okay? More energy dense than carbohydrates and protein. Like there is more energy in 1 gram of fat than there is in 1 gram of rice, right? Or 1 gram of chicken, right? Which normally provide around 3 to 4 calories per gram. In other words, this is one of the things that if you're trying to lower your calories, of course, you want to eat less energy food, right? In other words, you have to control your fat a little bit more. But normally we don't eat fat in big amounts, do we? But even though carbohydrates and proteins, they have less energy, we don't eat a lot of fat. Our fat in our food is very small, right? I mean, it's actually a small amount. So the total amount of energy that we consume with every gram of fat is significantly lower. We tend to have, 1 steak, and then 1 steak is almost half a kilo, or let's say 300 grams or 400 grams of protein, right? With very little fat. The fat is almost 0.1%. So generally, we recommend replacing saturated fats, okay, and trans fat with monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fat. However, be careful with doing that. You can replace saturated fats and trans fats with good quality fats, right? While we maintain a good diet, but don't overdo it. In other words, if you're going to use a lot of olive oil, you're still going to consume the calories, right? It's not necessarily that the olive oil is going to be harmful to you. It will help you. However, there's a lot of calories in that olive oil per gram. So you have to control that too, right? So in other words, you can replace the saturated fat and trans fats, especially trans fats are the main one, with good quality fats. We know that our ISO products, the Isholution program products, are rich in dietary fiber, which will help you to burn body fat and prevent your body from storing it. So in other words, that if you follow the Isholution program for 2 weeks, you will find that your body will actually stop storing fat, and it will prevent you from storing it, and also help you to burn it more. So remember, it's not just about the energy per gram of fat, but how much you're actually eating as well. So you always have to control total calories, okay? And keep in mind, what is your worst enemy in every respect is, in fact, not necessarily the good fat, not necessarily the bad fat, but how much fat you're actually eating, right? So you have to reduce your fat, reduce your protein, and reduce your carbohydrates altogether to control your calories, right? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I saw our audience will have a lot of questions here, so I will pick some of our audience to ask the question direct to you. Okay.
That will be fun.
The first, okay, that will be more clear. Okay, the first, I will invite Mr. Mensarin, yeah, from Cambodia. Hello, Mr. Mensarin.
Hello. Good morning, Dr. Fernando.
Good morning.
Yes, I am a surgeon from Cambodia.
Oh, nice to meet you. Your background is wonderful. Can I go there?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, you're in the beach. You're in the beach at the moment. I can see it. I'm jealous.
Yes. Thank you, doctor.
Okay.
I want to ask you about how can do I need add omega-3 and omega-6 during
okay, so
during
go ahead.
during I use the Isho?
Oh, okay, right. So very important question. If you need to eat
add more.
Yeah.
To add more, yeah, omega-3 and omega-6 during I use Isho.
Okay, so when you take the dietary fruit juice and you take the dietary milkshake, what you are doing is trying to reduce calories. Okay. Yeah. So now these two products will give you with very important nutrition to achieve the objective of losing weight and controlling fat. Okay. Now, should you? Okay, let me give you my advice, Dr. Mensarin. I'm telling you, I think that you need omega-3, omega-6 control. Okay.
Yeah.
Because our diet is really very high in omega-6. So, for example, we spoke before about the omega-3, omega-6 ratio, which is 1.5 to 3, right? That's the Japanese ratio is 1.5, which is a very good ratio. Now, the American ratio is 20. Okay, so it means that there is a lot more omega-6 than omega-3 because of the diet the Americans have. Okay, it's a terrible diet. Okay, Australians have roughly the ratio is 25. It should be 1, remember, right? But it's 25. That's why Australians are suffering from obesity. Okay, they have diseases. Although they live in a good country with good conditions, the people are not healthy, right? Because the diet is inflammatory diet. A diet that will cause inflammation by increasing high levels of omega-6. So what you should do, Dr. Sarin, is absolutely control the ratio, right? Always control the ratio. And the best way to do it is, I would say that reduce your calories as per program, use the dietary fruit juice and dietary milkshake, exercise, okay? And then in the food that you eat, try to include food that has less omega-6, okay? So, and one thing I'll tell you that I always use is eggs. Okay, I wanted to talk about eggs before because we hear a lot of misinformation okay, over the years. Egg is not good for you. Oh yes, no, it's good for you. Then the next year, no, it's not good for you, and so on. And let me tell you, eggs is one of the most amazing natural foods that I know. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you use good quality eggs as a source of omega-3, you will find you have more omega-3 and less omega-6. You can also include fish in your diet, right? But to improve your omega-3, okay? So that ratio becomes 1 or 1.5 or 2 or 3, okay. 1 to 3 is okay. So to answer your question, yes, you should really try to control the ratio because it's not easy to do because of our modern diet, McDonald's, because of, other things, because of, fast food, because of the food that we eat is processed. Everything comes out of a box or a bag, right? Yeah. Nothing natural. So if you can, please do that because it's a very good step.
Thank you, Dr. Fernando. Can I ask one more question?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Do I need eat alpha meta, phytomec, and ISO all together every day? Mm-hmm. Thank you, doctor.
Yeah, I think alpha meta. I would use alpha meta anyway because it's slightly different in objective and purpose as a product, right? So yeah. I would use a combination of most. In fact, what I'm trying to do in Indonesia is to have the full experience of all the products that we have, right? To use them in combination and to use them in an organized manner. But yeah, definitely you should use it. Slowly, we have to substitute the things that we use every day for healthy alternatives, right? And alpha meta is one of the things that can assist you in that journey, in that exercise, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, nice to talk to you.
Yes, thank you for your sharing. Amazing.
Don't forget, Dr. Sarin, send me an invitation so I can join you there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mansarin. So now we will invite another audience
yes.
for Miss Ingrid. Okay. Halo Ibu.
Halo. Halo,
Halo
Dok.
Bu.
Halo, ya.
Halo Ibu Ingrid, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you for this occasion. Dr. Fernando, I would like to ask, what are the consequences for our bodies if we eat coconut oil that packaged in plastic? Because as we know, in Indonesian market, coconut oil are in plastic bags.
Yes. Yes. So, okay. Yeah, I agree. Plastic is a big problem for everybody, right? So, plastic is a big problem because we have plastic cars, plastic plates, plastic bottles, plastic toilets. Everything is plastic, right? So, to escape that is very difficult, but we will in the future. In the future, I believe that we're going to eliminate all plastics because they are harmful to us. Now, how about oil? Now, so if you give me a bag of vegetable oil, and then you give me a bag of coconut oil, I will take the coconut oil anytime. Okay? So you give me 2 bags of oil. One from the supermarket says vegetable oil for frying, and the other one says coconut oil. I'll keep the coconut oil. Okay? Anytime. In other words, I will use the coconut oil even if it comes in plastic. Okay? Because it's a better alternative to the vegetable oil. All right? Now, I'm already working on this, and I've been asking companies in Indonesia to provide the coconut oil in glass bottles. Okay? And it's a difficult project because the glass bottle is heavy, it's more expensive, right? But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So there is a problem with any oil on plastic, any oil. Now, good oil or bad oil, there's always an issue. But if you have to choose the good quality coconut oil, even if it's in plastic, okay? Because it's a better choice. You have more benefits in the end. But together we have to work to make sure that we go back to glass, or we need to find a plastic that doesn't produce the chemicals that normal plastic does, okay? Which I think is coming. I think in the next few years we will see that, okay? But I hope that answers your question. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Chen. Can you hear me?
Hello, Dr. Fernando.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, I just lose some of the connection. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So I saw some of the question comes. So I saw anybody raise your hand. Okay, okay. Some of our audience may prefer to leave the message to you because they are not convenient to show the face. But the question is like that.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, so you mentioned it's about omega-6, right? The omega-6. Right. So what is the danger of omega-6 for our body?
Okay, so that's a very, very good question. Very interesting question. Omega-6 is in fact one of the polyunsaturated oils, right? So omega-6 has a different function to omega-3, and it tends to work more towards inflammation, okay? So omega-6 is used by the cells in the body to support immunity, okay? So in other words, it has a job which is very similar to inflammation, right? So the danger with omega-6 is not because of omega-6, it's because there is too much omega-6, understand? So if you exceed certain level, the ratio should be 1 to 3, right? Omega-3 over omega-6, like that. But currently we have omega-6 is much higher than omega-3. And so it causes problem with inflammation, okay? And the dangers are cardiovascular disease. There is a connection with diabetes as well. There are some people who claim that omega-6 in excess is behind all the diseases that we see today in the United States, in Australia, and is coming to Asia as well, right? So a diet with high levels of omega-6 is a dangerous diet, definitely dangerous. And the dangers are very, very big, okay? So I recommend you do the best you can to reduce, as we discussed in the presentation, reduce the amount of omega-6 in your life, in your diet, okay? Okay, Mr. Chen, next question.
Okay, next is also about the, because we start to talk about the oil they intake, right? So some more question comes about in Europe. So why is it olive oil is not good for frying? Because in Europe and especially Italy, the people take a lot of the olive oil.
Oh yeah, the Italians, they use the olive oil, but they don't fry with it. Trust me, because I'm Italian, okay? So my family is from Italy and Spain, and I can tell you, they don't use olive oil for frying. They use butter for frying. They use lard. You know, the lard is a very heavy fat, but they use olive oil on the salads, okay? So why is this? It's because olive oil is not strong enough to be safe with temperature. So once you put the olive oil on the fry pan at say 200, 300 degrees, you change the olive oil. The olive oil becomes trans fatty acid. So high temperature in the fry pan, high temperature is dangerous for all the oils, right? That's what we say, don't fry food too much, yeah? However, some oils can be better in high temperature frying than others. And so olive oil is not good for frying because it changes in structure, right? It becomes unstable, you understand that? So it has a certain shape, chemical shape, which changes with high temperature. But if you use coconut oil, that doesn't happen. Coconut oil, butter oil, all the saturated fats are much stronger in resisting high temperature, okay? So olive oil is not good for frying, but it's good for salads. You can actually, you know, the Italians, they put oil in a glass, in a dish, and they put vinegar, right? And then they have bread, and then they drink the oil like that, okay? With the bread, but that is not cooked. There's no frying with that. You will never see an Italian fry with olive oil, but they will use other things, okay? They will use other things. So that's the main answer for that, is that the high temperature changes the olive oil and it becomes trans fatty acid, right? Mr. Chen, next question.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I think the time is a little bit limited for today. So sorry for our audience, but no worry. I will mark down all the questions which we still not yet answer, and also to share back to our product center and also Dr. Fernando for the answer. And we will also share back to our branches. So any question you leave here, please also ask our branches, then they will give you the answer today. So thank you, Dr. Fernando, for the sharing and also for the question and answer session. So I think you already learned a lot about how to know more about the facts for your body and the importance and how to eat healthy, right? So today, Dr. Fernando shared you a lot of information because during our Isholution program, you need to take the ISO and also one meal, you need to select the right food for you. So it's very important. So everybody remember today's tips. Okay, so besides from today's sharing, I want to share you some more information. It's about our Isholution challenge. So I think all of you already joined our Isholution challenge program. And now it's very, very important. Right now, it's 13 already. And the round 3 of Isholution challenge still, including today, still 3 days remain, okay? So please remember to share your video about your Isholution anti-aging healthy lifestyle to the social media. Then after 15, you can start to collect all the video you already posted to social media and send us the link, okay? Just contact our branches. They will have the form for you to fill in, and we will also open the website to you to submit through internet, so that will be more easy that time. So please remember to send and post your video to social media about your Isholution challenge round 3, and also you will have the opportunity to win the cash reward and also to win the free Bistro product. Okay, so remember to join and also to share it to your friends and your loved one. Okay, so thank you so much for today's information, and also thanks Dr. Fernando for joining. And also we will continue to invite Dr. Fernando to share you more information about your body health through the October, November, and December sharing. You already know too many information about your health. So everyone, please open your mind and also to say thank you to Dr. Fernando and also
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Fernando.
so much, Dr.
Fernando.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fernando.
Next week.
And sharing.
See you next week, Dr. Fernando.
thank you.
Dr. Fernando.
Bye.
Mr. Chen.
Thank you, Mr. Zen.
Thank
See you
thank
next
you.
week.
So thank you everyone. Thank you, Dr. Fernando.
Thank you.
Also, I'm very happy for seeing you every week because I saw a lot of our audience already around 10 weeks. I saw you here to keep joining our sharing. So please remember to follow our Bespoke social media, our Facebook and our YouTube channel and our website to have more information. So
Yes.
coming Monday, we will continue to invite Dr. Fernando to have training for you. So thank you everyone. Take care and goodbye.
Thank you, Lexus. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye everyone.
Thank you.